So again, welcome to the Caffeine Buzz. We're really excited to have you. My name is Jacqueline. We also have Deanna Abrams here. We are excited to share with you Caffeine Buzz from a little bit of the employee development perspective. We have a lot of things today, variety, but many of them are going to be focusing on working with others, what that connection piece can look like in the virtual world, which is a little bit different for all of us. So let's go ahead and take a look.
As our first idea that we're sharing, we wanted to think a little bit about how we create connections across teams in this virtual space. And so this company is called Sococo. Don't ask me why, I couldn't find an answer. But they are working, they promote working remotely side by side in an online workplace where distributed teams can work together each day. No matter where the team members are, all you need is a Wi-Fi connection. So when you use Sococo, you can act as if you're physically in the room. You can see where your teammates are, if they're in the meeting, if they're available for a chat, all at the glance of a map. We're going to show the video now so that you can see it.
Sococo is the online workplace where distributed teams come.
Oh, let's try that one more time. There we go.
Sococo is the online workplace where distributed teams come to work together each day side by side. Let's drop by an office to explore. See how the entire team is present together in the same place in real time, no matter where they might be physically located. It looks like the marketing team is meeting in the conference room. You can see Emily speaking and sharing her screen, and Dave just went to get Chris to bring him into the room. Look over to the lobby and you'll see Laura from sales meeting with the potential client she's invited into the office. In the break room, it looks like John and Taylor are just catching up. Let's knock and go in. Tap to turn on your audio, video, and chat. Have Zoom, WebEx, or Google Hangouts? Integrate them easily to use with Sococo. You can also use up to 300 minutes per month of Sococo's voice and video. Pool your minutes with a coworker or purchase more. Check the people view to see your colleague's status at a glance. Are you ready to invite your team to work together in your own Sococo office? Get started today.
Yeah, so a little bit about pricing. So it depends on the number of seats. It's anywhere on average from $12 per user per month. And you can even try Sococo free of charge for 14 days, but it's limited to 25 users. So Katie, I saw your comment. We could try a virtual CDC for 14 days and see what we think. The website mentions how is this different than Skype, Zoom, Slack, Teams. Well, they boast that their product allows for greater connection and working side by side so that you can collaborate in real time and hold ad hoc meetings, get to know the people we work with around that virtual water cooler. It also easily integrates with Zoom, WebEx, Google Meet, and Microsoft Teams. So we can try it out. I don't know how the integration would work if you're in a trial environment, but yeah, please use the chat and let us know what you think. Tasha's down.
So moving forward, we also have another way that you can attend your meetings. So I know the conversation around Zoom fatigue is very real. It is a very real thing that's happening. You're sitting in meetings 6-7 hours a day potentially, maybe with a break, maybe not. And it does get pretty tiring. So this is a new option that a company called Lumi has released. So it's an opportunity to use an avatar. So as you guys can see on the screen, that is me. That is an avatar. I got really into it. I was doing research, and you can pull it up on your phone and use the app. You basically just take a selfie, and then they create the image for you, and you can make some slight adjustments as you go through, change the clothes, whatever. But it's pretty weird. It's pretty fun, but it's a little bit strange to see yourself in an avatar form. But the really cool thing about it is it uses audio, and you can actually, it'll mimic your facial movements, and not so much the facial movements unless you're using the AR option. Let me clarify that. On the phone, it will mimic your facial movements, and it's pretty strange. But in the face-to-face environment with the video, if you were to integrate it with some of the options that they do have to integrate, it'll move its mouth. So you can actually step away, and it'll sit there, and you'll look pretty engaged, and then you can come back and you can, use your voice. So it doesn't use video, it uses audio to connect. But it's a pretty cool little activity that they've got going on. And again, back in March, this is something that I would have never guessed would be an option, but now we've been doing this for about 6 months, and so it is. So again, you can go to loom.ai. They've got an app on the Play Store. You can take a look at it, and it is free to start out with. So you can go ahead and sign up for free, and it does integrate with mostly with Slack. I don't believe it might. Oh, it does apply to Google Hangouts and Teams. That's a recent update they just did. So maybe we can see this around in our meetings sometime soon.
I don't know. I'm still a little creeped out.
I know, me too. It's very strange, but hey, you know, what's the new age these days, right?
Yeah. And speaking of these days, we've talked a little bit about virtual water coolers in the past. Here's a company called getcooler.com that have basically created the space to do that. And according to their website, they're coming soon. So I hope they get moving on this idea. But they've created what they're calling friendly work environment. You know, it's so challenging right now. So they wanted to create an opportunity for this virtual space where individuals can share interests, short chats, simple conversations, those welcome distractions to help you in your day-to-day work. With the Get Cooler, you can kind of indicate your interests and find stories that matter to you and that can hit your feed so that you can read them and join the conversation. And whenever an event occurs with those interests, you'll get that notification once you join. You can engage with your coworkers around topics that you're passionate about. So one of the things we'd like you to put in the chat is if you saw an article pop up on your feed about something, what would that topic be? Read some of them aloud. We won't say who it is, but
Guilty pleasures. Maybe it's something that you can message us anonymously if you don't want to admit to it. I don't know if anyone's, you know, Kardashian fan or anything like that. Some of those clickbait type things. So go ahead and pop that into the chat if you guys have anything you would click on. For me, it's travel. Anything travel related. Definitely
food.
The Home Edit. If you haven't seen it, we are not endorsed by them, but it was really good, organized. Changed my closet forever.
Amazon. Food as well. I saw Amazon. I see pets and Disney.
Disney, yeah.
Specifically Golden Doodles. Oh, Prime Day. Amazon
Prime Day. 2 weeks, guys.
And to your point, Jacqueline, about that Home Edit, anything organization, and if there's an image that shows like just brilliant organization, I'm gonna have to click on it and see more about that.
Every time, yep.
Music, travel, shopping, there's lots of Amazon. So I think if we were all in this Get Cooler, if we utilize this tool, if it comes out, we would all be there together and we would see our Amazon posts and have conversations about what are you buying? Oh wait, send me the link to that. Which I may or may not do all the time anyway, so.
Same.
Thanks for participating in the chat too. Ooh, and I see cocktail recipes. Oh, and board games.
Alrighty, that's perfect. Yeah, board games, I'm here for that too. All right, let's go ahead and jump into another virtual workspace. This one is definitely among the more interesting ones that we found. So this is called FocusMate. And it is a company that's really focused on changing the way you work by connecting you with others. And it's created around accountability. And in some ways it feels a little bit like a work timeout, but we'll talk about that in a second. So basically you choose a time to work. You find a pair, someone who's your accountability partner for the live virtual co-working session. So the goal is that you say hi to your partner, you keep your mic and your video on, you do your work, and then you say goodbye. So this is not a collaborative where you talk through and brainstorm. This is really someone sitting in front of you virtually, making sure that you're getting your work done as needed. So they do say you can accomplish all kinds of things, cleaning, cooking, whatever it may be, home exercise, but the biggest thing is that you have your camera set up so that your partner can see you while you're working. And this is all based in the psychology, and I think we all know this deep down in our hearts that when you have someone else, when there's a human connection, you have someone else that you're accountable to, you're more likely to get the things done and less likely to be distracted or procrastinate. And again, they have done all kinds of internal surveys, and 95 to 96% of people have seen an increase in productivity. So our team, we do what we like to call open breathing sessions. We literally will just hop on the line, and if all we do is breathe and take in oxygen in the same virtual space, great. But oftentimes we end up collaborating, we end up creating a space for some of that more informal connection that we don't get in the virtual space anymore. So again, this one, it does track your attentiveness. So again, that's where it kind of starts to feel like maybe a work timeout where you're just sitting and it keeps track of you. But it's a really cool option if that's something where you have a project, you've got a tight deadline potentially. You can sit and say, all right, we're going to sit, we're going to work for 50 minutes. Now, when it comes to pricing, it is free. You get 3 free hours per month, and then you can go ahead and upgrade to another option for a small fee. I think it's $5.
Yeah, so it looks like folks are feeling like that might be really helpful, especially as it comes to exercise and having an accountability partner there. The only thing that kind of freaked me out about it was that you weren't supposed to talk to the person. So it was, that was my kind of one pause, like, I don't know how I feel about that. It's like Big Brother watching or something.
I don't think we could do it, Deanne, to be honest. Among the extroverts in our team, and so I think we would fill the silence on accident. So
Probably so. Just talk to myself at that point.
yeah, right.
So here's another idea that just, I mean, is kind of funny, called Hey Taco. They share in their website, they say, whenever you'd like to add a little happiness in someone's day, give them a taco and include a nice message. Just mention their username, write the message, and add the taco emoji. It's literally that easy. I guess where they really kind of boast of it's the technology behind the system that allows for you to literally just say, hey, taco, and it kind of does it for you. So you use Slack to use the Hey Taco. You don't have to create any additional accounts or passwords or teach people how to use it. All you have to do is say Hey Taco and start giving out tacos. Everyone has 5 tacos to give out per day. They can only be given in channels Hey Taco is in, so you actually have to, let your Slack channel know that you would like to use it, and there's some instructions on how to add Hey Taco to the channel. And then there's some other commands that Hey Taco will understand. So kind of like when you say Siri, find me this, it's kind of a similar example. The pricing is $3 a month per person. And again, anyone can use it, and people are automatically added to your subscription when they give or receive their first taco. If you want to use it as a team, you can pay for only the people on your team or the people you selected. So it makes it pretty affordable. So you can check out their website at heytaco.chat and start sending some tacos. I personally would like to receive real tacos, but
Nicole had a really good question in the chat. Can you customize your taco? Because not everyone likes the same tacos.
That's a really good point. I think we should send that to them as a future update.
Agreed. How do we create tacos and where can we send and receive the real tacos? So it's called Uber Eats, DoorDash. We are not endorsed by anybody, but those are options if you guys are interested.
Yes, and if you have recommendations for great tacos,
Yes.
maybe adding those in the chat would be helpful for those that are in the Central Florida area.
Agreed.
Oh no,
Absolutely.
suddenly folks are hungry. Breakfast taco recipes.
Breakfast taco. Mm-hmm.
We can share them in our virtual water cooler.
See, we've got it all figured out. Look at that. Alrighty, so next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at something that I personally find very, very cool. We have these things called super cards. So these super cards, the idea behind them is that we are in a very visual space, but we're not together. And so a lot of those things that you would be able to say to someone in person, it may be easier to do it visually. So as you guys can see, we have a set of super cards on the screen. So in the chat, go ahead and actually take a moment and see what else you would add. Go ahead and take a moment to read a few of these, be right back. Your connection isn't great, but what else would you guys add? I was thinking about this. Yes, we can hear your lawn guy. That's why I feel like the lawn is like always meetings. The lawn guys are always out there. Go ahead and take a look. Again, this is just another way for us to connect visually. You can print them out to give away for free. They sell a sales license if you do want to print them for distribution. You can also, of course, print them for yourself, or you can use them on your phone. The idea is just you hold up a little sign. That way, the person that is presenting gets a visual Cute. Okay. Raise your dog, cat / tiny human. That's a great one. Everyone show your little coworkers that you've got running around. Need a coffee refill, BRB. Love this idea. Yep. Restroom break. Yes. So they've got a full deck. Again, you can go online to I believe it's Supercards. Let me pull it up. Collaborationsuperpowers.com/supercards. So you can go on there at any time and print them up. And I hope to see some of those around Valencia. I think once I get my printer back up and running, I'd love to print some out and use them for ourselves.
Yeah, I'd also just love like a hello and a goodbye, especially the goodbye, I think, because I hate to like interrupt, like I got to go to the next meeting or maybe is that one next meeting? I don't know. There's something that we need to make a cue without being disruptive.
Do a 10 out of 10 cue card, like we're reading gymnastics, like 10 out of 10. Good job with your meeting today. I could do that.
All right, props to your meeting. I'm actually laughing out loud.
I always feel so bad. I try to unmute for the laugh, but then it just comes across a little weird, but yes. Send tacos. There we go. Done. Perfect. Send tacos. That'll be the cue card.
Actually, Jacqueline, I know another one we need. You know, when our audio is going in and out, we need that card. We need that card.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I'm sure you guys experience that as well. This morning I was getting closer and away from the computer to try to figure out where the spot was. So, but yes, anyway, you can go to the website. Again, these are for free. You can print them out. You have a full spread. There's 5 decks of 24 different cards. So go ahead and take a look.
So as you're thinking about what cards you might add, we're actually going to have you think a little bit about the things that you've been doing here at Valencia to build your team in a virtual space, so to create connections and to build your team. If you want to type in some ideas that we can share with the group or come off mute, you're certainly welcome to. I'm also going to put in the chat a link to a ton more ideas, some of which we're talking about, which we've shared today and we're talking about today. But we want to hear, what else are you doing? What great ideas have you come up with that you've used in your team to create connections?
Like we mentioned earlier, we have our open breathing sessions. We'll either go before a meeting, after a meeting, or just hold a whole couple hours to just sit and work and exist together. And that's been really fun for our virtual team building. We also did something where we did an online game for a birthday that we had recently. Online gaming session. There's lots of different options for that. We used Jackbox TV and we went in and we turned on the family friendly version and we played some games. And so that was a lot of fun. Anything else that you guys have been doing? Anything fun? Ways to recognize team members, build connections? Says, I love Jackbox. Jackbox is great. Katie also said open breathing sessions. Yeah, it just kind of happened. It felt like a very natural thing to make it.
You mentioned using the Zoom whiteboard for Pictionary, so I've actually used that as well. It's a really easy thing to do. It doesn't take very long, and obviously you can use that whiteboard for lots of different things too. Mention our team should play Among Us together. Among Us, is that the name of it? You can play hide and seek if you don't have enough people for a full game. Oh, I haven't heard about that one.
I just heard about it the other day during our weekly game night with the family, but you do have to have a certain number of people. Trish, I don't know if you know how many people you need, but that's an idea maybe for maybe a department-wide ODHR team building activity.
Is it truly like hide and seek?
No, it's like a game in space, and essentially one person is an imposter who's going around like killing other players and trying to like sabotage them from completing tasks, while the rest of the people are going around completing tasks, and you're trying to figure out who the imposter is and kick them out.
Very
cool. I saw something going around yesterday that was saying if you don't have enough people, what you can do is you can play hide and seek instead, and you can like change the visibility to make it darker. And instead of having them like you trying to like guess who it is, you know who it is, but you're trying to have them run around and get everybody before a certain time, doing it like hide and seek style if there's not enough people.
That's so
like,
clever.
Like 10 people, and it's super addicting, and I blame Ben.
I love that. That's really interesting. I love the dual purpose of it, that someone has found another way to interact in the game. I love that.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Looks like wearing silly hats on a Zoom meeting, customizing virtual backgrounds to celebrate people, playing the game Mafia, kind of similar to what Trisha mentioned. Yep, it sounds just like a virtual version of that. The board game arena, I know Hilda, you've mentioned that a couple of times. It's awesome. And then, use Uber Eats to celebrate birthdays. It's another reason to promote Amazon too. It's just so quick and gets there so quickly. Really hats too, yeah. Thank you for sharing. And again, I hope that I'll put the link back in there, but here again is a link to a bunch of other ideas, super simple ones, very cost effective for ways to continue to promote the camaraderie that we're sharing together and demonstrate connection too.
And another thing we want to go ahead and take a look at is this concept of Humans at Work Film Festival. So this is an organization that really wanted to focus on making the conversations about the good stories being told in the workplace, the good work that's being done. Especially in the world we live in, a lot of the media, it's not always positive. It's not always what gets the most attention for the media. So it doesn't benefit them always to tell the good stories. So this is a good way. It's really with the intention to shift bias, counterbalance, and really inform our brains in very positive ways. So if you go to www.humans.atwork/film festival, the festival itself formerly took place in August, but they do have the recordings available. It's free, 1-hour program of short films. And then, of course, they have discussion platforms, and it's all centered around work and really positive workplaces. And again, it's really to appeal to the humanity. We are all people. The way that they say it is, companies are not faceless entities. They are led by people. We work for people, and we really want to keep that human element involved. So I definitely encourage you all to go onto that site, take a look, and see what kind of good feels you get out of it.
One thing we'll mention with that Humans at Work, they've already held the festival. So it's kind of a little, when you go to the website, it says like reserve your seat, but actually it's just a way for you to watch the recording. And they've done other ones too, so you can check that. Mm-hmm. This might be one of my favorite ones, pretty much because it's called the button chair, but I like to call it the butt on chair. And we're not going to show the video, but you can watch a TED Talk on the button chair. And I'll give you a little bit of synopsis of what you can expect. So since most of us can't walk around campus, we can't walk to someone's office for a chat or a meeting, we've been doing a lot of sitting, which is why we wanted to show this product. Statistics say that 80% of Americans seek medical care for back pain during their lives, compared to only 3% of Japanese. So Dr. Turner Osler, he's a trauma surgeon, has spent the last 10 years examining this sitting disease in the Western world. And he suggests that the office chairs that we have, with all of this support, our headrests, our backrests, our armrests, and our lumbar support, what they're actually doing is confining and restraining us and reshaping our bodies. So what he did is he began prototyping what he calls a fixed seat that requires you to use your balance and a casual posture. So look, I'm gonna get a little bit better. And he began this startup to create a button chair for kids specifically. So he thought, what if we started with kids who haven't already predisposed themselves to what they think they need and create what they called active sitting. And he's created basically free chairs that you use you make them out of plywood, a tennis ball, and a bungee cord. And on his website, you can actually request to download a design to be cut by a CNC router if you have that, or you can print it out and trace it onto plywood to cut using a jigsaw or a handsaw. I really hope that Ben was here because he's our resident woodworking expert, and he was gonna, understand all this language. But basically, they give you all the things that you need in order to make this chair for free. And lastly, you can buy one and assemble the pieces in just 5 minutes because there's no tools necessary. So the button chair features, and you can kind of see from the picture, it has a handle for easy carrying on the side of the leg. All the pieces snap together without glue or screws. You just use a mallet. And then there's a non-slip seat, an adjustable height, and you can, when they call it adjustable, basically you just saw off the bottom of the legs because they're plywood. And all the plywood is made in Vermont, so it's locally sourced and non-toxic. So if you're interested in it, you can also purchase one. They're calling it very affordable at $150.
Naturally.
And according to the site, this specific design is not suitable for adults. However, the weight limit is 130 pounds. If you are interested, you can watch Dr. Osler's TED Talk on active sitting or go to the website. Katie put it in the chat at buttonchairs.org. So by raise of hands, you can use your virtual hands or type in the chat, is who is actually sitting on a comfortable chair, which supports your posture.
I've got the full armchair set up. You guys remember I was very excited when I got a new chair. I do have the great lumbar support.
Well, he's saying that's not actually helpful for you.
No, I've heard that from my chiropractor too. You engage the core, you need to do all that.
Yes, I tend to think when I do sit up straight without using my supports, like it hurts for a moment and then all of a sudden you sort of reset. And he does use that as an example in his talk about when he kind of tested out his chairs, the ones that are for adults too, that they said the same thing happened to them. So we see my core is engaged in the muffin I'm eating. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would like to see an adult version. I agree. I think, well, probably, again, if you have some talent and skill, maybe adjusting this template a little bit to create maybe a little bit of a larger version might seem to work. If anybody does make one, I would love to see your end product. And I would be happy to sponsor a tennis ball.
I think I could sponsor a bungee cord, so I think we can make this work. All right, again, when we were putting this specific slide together, we had lots of giggles involved. It was a lot of fun for us because the idea is wild and they're very affordable at $150. So guys, check it out. This next piece we're gonna go ahead and take, we're gonna go ahead and shift the focus a little bit, but we wanted to show you something that we just really thought was really awesome, especially in this world that we're in right now. Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of single-use plastic and our focus on sustainability maybe isn't the same as it was 6 months to a year ago. So I wanted to show you some options that some people are coming up with throughout the pandemic to help. So let me go ahead and play a video for you. And I am warning you, I do have a cat that's sitting right here that may jump into the screen very soon. So let me press play to the video.
Packaging nag-start nung naubusan kami ng cardboard boxes na sinusource out pa namin from Manila. So we thought of something na we can just source out nearby. Primary industry rin in Cavinti is yung weaving. So weaving ng sombrero or hats, nagpasample kami sa isang local which is si Kuya Henry to make a container out of the pandan boxes. So they made a sample and nagustuhan namin, then we continue to use it for our pizza. We are helping our community, our very own locals in Cavinti, Laguna to have another source of income dahil lalo ngayon, pandemic.
Very environment friendly, and then ang lakas ng kaprobinsya feels talaga nito. Yung tampipi kasi minsan lang yung pakita mo ganyan yung packaging. Bakit very unique.
So as you all know, throughout COVID, supply chains have been unreliable at best in a lot of situations. People don't have access to the same things that they used to. So this is a really great way that they were able to engage their local communities, help their friends and neighbors who were impacted by the lack of tourism and lack of people with the weaving. And so they were able to make pizza boxes. And Katie says, I want one with or without pizza. So you could put flowers in it. You could do all kinds of very cute things with it. But yeah, okay, I do want it with pizza. I agree with you there. But yeah, it's a very neat skill. They're able to engage their people and create a sustainable product with something that was easily on hand. And the pizza did look really delicious, right? It looked really good too. So that was a nice plus.
Yeah, I think I would love to receive my pizza in this beautiful woven box like that, or really anything in this beautiful woven box. In this box, I changed my mind. It's not the button chair. This is definitely my favorite one.
That's fair. Yeah, this one I like, again, home edit. I'm thinking of all the cute ideas. I can store all kinds of things in there. There's just so many dual purposes. And it is supporting the community. Yeah, it's a great thing. It's natural. It supports the community. It's just a local, something that everyone has in their backyard. So they're able to pull and bring it together, which is amazing. All right, we'll go ahead and move forward.
That was such a smart idea. And speaking of some additionally smart ideas and ways to help the community, we're going to show a quick video clip, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about this initiative.
Right, forget dodgeball, soccer, flag football. There's one school in Iowa. It's giving students PE credit for doing yard work for senior citizens or people with disabilities. It's a nice idea, right? So the whole idea is this: the kids are going to spend 2 hours at this homeowner's house doing some chores. Anything like raking, mowing, cleaning gutters, planting, things like that, and they will get credit, which I think is great. Right, forget dodgeball.
So at most traditional high schools, students can finish their PE course or get their PE credit by pursuing sports or in after-school activities. But specifically, as we saw, the students at the Alternative Learning Center in Iowa are being encouraged to fulfill that credit by doing this yard work for people in the community who are unable to do it themselves. The Learning Center is specifically geared towards junior and senior high school students who are at risk of dropping out of traditional schools. So their teacher, Tim Hitzler, who launched the program, has been supervising the volunteer students doing this yard work over the course of the last few weeks. And he said he's noticed the impact on the teens, of course, as well as the homeowners. He says that the students, and he goes out there with the other students too. They could be raking leaves, pulling weeds, cutting grass, cleaning gutters, just depends on whatever the community needs. And of course, the students aren't typically excited initially, but once they get involved and start doing the work, they become more motivated. What they really like is helping people and giving back and meeting the person too. So this just like warms my heart along with the pizza one. What a great opportunity to get physical activity, to help, and to really see like the benefit of your efforts right immediately. So we wanted to ask if you can type in the chat. What is your favorite thing? What was your favorite thing to do in PE, or what is your favorite physical activity maybe from school? Oh, and there's lots of stuff showing up in the chat too. Volleyball.
Trisha says, so we should also follow along the Raising Men lawn care service in Huntsville. They yard challenges for kids to mow lawns for people who aren't able to, and they post about them finishing their challenges. And they travel, the man who created it travels across the country mowing lawns.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have some volleyball players and we have some kickball players.
Anyone else did Foursquare? I was like that kid. We played Foursquare. It was pretty competitive.
I was really excited in my community. I saw some kids playing and I was like, oh, can I join?
Right?
We'll capture the flag.
Oh,
yes.
That was a good one. Katie, Red Rover. Okay, all right.
No, Katie.
See you, Katie. That didn't benefit the short kids like me.
Not as
Freeze
bad.
tag. Good one too. Nicole. Mm-hmm.
A super competitive version of kickball. Gymnastics. We've got some volleyball. I think we might have a volleyball team over here. Maybe we
think
can
so
start with some
too.
virtual volleyball. Oh, that's great. In South Florida, her environmental club, Hilda's Environmental Club, once a year they went sea oat planting at the beach. We actually did something similar. That's cool. I was in an environmental club. Mine was called Save What's Left. I don't know if that's it's kind of morbid me.
It's kind of morbid, but I mean, there is a point there.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for participating.
Yes, and so when we're talking about really cool things that people are coming up with, especially through quarantine and the pandemic, I do want to go ahead and show you a clip about a history teacher that is doing something that I personally think is one of the coolest things I've heard since the pandemic has started. So let's take a look at that video.
This is the Vietnam.
I'm at the Lincoln Memorial. They're setting up for a big rally tomorrow. They're testing the sound. And I have just been periodically bursting into dance throughout my first period. How can you not? Hold on. Sound check. I think it works.
This is the Vietnam Wall. It's crazy. There is nobody here. It has every single one of the 57,000 American names of lives who were lost in the Vietnam War. And it is empty today. It's wild.
All right, so as you guys can see from that video, this is a teacher. She's from Texas, and she is really putting the distance in distance learning. So she actually got permission from her school board to go to the actual sites. She is an AP US History and an AP European History teacher at a school in Austin, Texas, and she is calling it the Great American History Road Trip. And so since August 21st, she is going to all of the famous landmarks that her students are learning about. So as you guys can see, she visited the Lincoln Memorial, the Vietnam Memorial, as well as several other sites. She's been able to go spend some time in Colonial Williamsburg, which my family has been classes to. We're total history nerds. So that was really cool to see from Jamestown, Yorktown, all of the things you learn about in those types of classes, and able to really show the students, you know, here's where the battle took place. This is give them the feeling in a way that they would not be able to learn otherwise, especially from a textbook. So again, I thought this was really special. Yes, a lot of people say this is awesome. DC was amazing, one of the best trips. She's had, again, of course, with COVID, so she's been sleeping in sometimes hotel rooms, sometimes her car. She's been having to get creative along the way, but it's pretty amazing. And if you go online and Google her, there's also, there's more to come. She has all kinds of videos that she's posted along the way. So again, really cool thing to see what people are doing and how creative they're getting during quarantine, and how learning never stops, right?
That's awesome. Speaking of creativity, our next one is called Tiny Campfire. So it's a little bit back to that team building theme. This is a Tiny Campfire, is a company that facilitates 100% virtual team building activities. The event is basically a virtual campfire that includes historic ghost stories, icebreaker games, little competitions, and real s'mores making, as you can see from the picture. It's a fun of a real camp night with no mosquito repellent necessary. So how it works, 1 week before your event, they send each of your team members a tiny campfire kit. The kit includes a campfire candle, wood matches, and s'mores ingredients. It's like getting a little, present in the mailbox. On camp day, they send a link to a video of each member of the team and then run the experience. That includes facilitated camp counselors. The Tiny Campfire is a 90-minute event, completely digital. They have energetic facilitators, AKA the camp counselors, that create high spirits, engagement, and shared memories. So they've run team building events for some of the world's most forward-thinking organizations, including Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Pepsi, H&M, and Netflix. And so an example of what an itinerary might look like, the first 15 minutes would be introductions, icebreakers, then 20 minutes on camp games. I don't know what those are, but I can imagine. Then there's 30 minutes of historic ghost stories and making your s'mores, and then a cool down wrap up for 10 minutes. You can add on some additional activities. You can extend your campfire by 30 minutes and you get 2 additional activities. You can get some extra kits in case you want to include the family members, which I just think is such a good idea. And of course, there's that video trailer. And if you want to pay a little bit more, they can make it customized to your group. What I found was interesting, they called it completely virtual and remote, but then they said if you want to pay a little extra money, you can pay for their travel costs and they'll come to you. So I thought that was interesting. And again, it works for groups of all sizes. And they did say that although their prices are reasonable, they're not cheap because then their business would fail, but they do think it would fit the budget. When I tried to get a cost, it says you do have to reach out in order to find out the cost. And then they do events worldwide. So if anyone tries this, I'll pay my own way and please invite me to your virtual campfire.
Same. I love this. I'm a huge s'mores fan personally. We have a lot of people in the chat that are saying the same thing. Cheryl's saying that's my kind of camping, AC and indoor plumbing. My thought when I was doing it, seeing the little tea light saying it was 30 minutes for s'mores, I'm like, does it take 30 minutes to make the s'more? Like, I don't know, maybe it does. But it is a very cute idea and such a great way to transition into our fall. So
yeah, feel free to add your preference for how you take your s'mores. Jumbo marshmallow, mini marshmallows, more chocolate than marshmallows. Just add it.
Tasha says burnt. That's her preference. I'm a golden brown kind of person. I like to rotisserie it, 2 pieces of chocolate, and then I have my gluten-free graham crackers. They're not as good as the regular. How do you guys take your s'mores? Who's like a 1 piece of chocolate, like a 1 little square of chocolate person? Because that person has ultimate self-restraint, and I don't. That's not me. If it's not on fire, it's not done right.
I'm down for skipping the graham cracker and just doing some Oreos.
Oh, Reese's Cups. Tried it once. It was a little too much for me, but other people did like it. Half the candy bar on the s'more, half just eating. See, Katie, after my own heart. I love it. But yes, actually the weather's cool enough tonight that I personally will be participating in a campfire and having some s'mores. So at 75 range, right? You got to do a campfire at 72 degrees. So the cool thing about this is, again, we're transitioning into fall, which means we've got some really great fun holidays coming up. So if you guys do celebrate Halloween, as you guys know, the CDC has released its guidelines and it is not recommending traditional trick-or-treating, which means a lot of people need to come up with some creative ideas. So several families, this is just a picture of one, have come up with what they call the Halloween candy shoot. So it's the idea that when trick-or-treaters come, they can actually drop the candy from a safe distance and the trick-or-treaters can catch it in their buckets. So this is originally from a dad out in Ohio. He created the first one, but many people have replicated, as you can see in the photo. My teacher is actually my sister-in-law is a teacher, and she and I were on the phone yesterday chatting, and I think her plan, they've got a big front porch, so she's gonna create like a spider web out of rope, and she's gonna clothespin the candies in various spots across the front, which I thought was very creative. Have any of you guys heard of any other creative ideas on sharing the Halloween candy?
That's an awesome idea, Jacqueline. I saw one on Facebook the other day where similarly somebody was taking like wooden sticks, dowels, and putting the candy on there and then placing them around the yard.
I love that. Katie was just gonna throw the candy. Yeah, I love that. that's a way, you know, make a game, catch it, maybe build a little, I don't know, what's the catapult or something. You can make it a whole theme.
Yes, the pulley system to deliver the candy to the street. I've seen that. I've seen that they've also included some drinks for the adults in those pulley systems.
There we go. Yeah, I was thinking, well, you know, we could use the driveway if you've got a long driveway, maybe create like a little fun picture and then place the candy in different spots. So the cool thing about slingshot candy, yeah, exactly, right? No, the great thing about this year, again, you know, with everything that's gone on, it's given people the opportunity to be more creative and to use the space they have to create safe experiences for everyone.
Our final slide is, well, we're going to show the video in just a second, but we're going to meet the Holderness family, which maybe we've seen their videos before. They create original music, parodies, and vlogs for YouTube to poke fun at themselves and the absurdities that they faced in day-to-day life. They began with their first video in December 2013 and cover such topics as the holidays, back to school, 80s music. This video is actually from 2016, but is clearly still relevant today. And 'tis the season for pumpkin spice. And similar to the election, your feelings about pumpkin spice might be equally divisive. So let's take a look.
That is too much season, take it slow. Pumpkin spices everywhere I go. Please don't put that in all my food. You don't know how much of it to use. That is too much season, take it slow. Pumpkin pasta, that is gonna blow. Please don't make any more macaroons. I'll have to make up a bad excuse. Welcome to the room of people who have lost their minds, spicing everything. Disturbing. Wake up and I'm hungry and I bite into a bagel and it's pumpkin spice. That's not nice. That's a pumpkin yogurt sitting next to you. Those are pumpkin nachos sitting next to you. That is pumpkin popcorn sitting next to you. I say, when will it go away? Never. That is too much season, take it slow. Why do they sell this at Trader Joe? Can you not put that in my soup? If you do, I'm probably gonna puke.
This is a great debate in our house. I am very pro pumpkin spice. This guy is insane and anti-pumpkin. Where do you fall in this great debate? Are you with me or this lunatic? Oh, and you have spinach in your teeth. At least it's not pumpkin. Okay.
So yes, please answer. Let's solve this great debate right now. Are you pro pumpkin spice or are you anti-pumpkin spice?
The Trader Joe's comment, I also thought it was hilarious. I have been thinking about specifically making a trip to Trader Joe's for the pumpkin thing, but I don't know if I can brave the parking lot situation. You guys know, it's a little rough.
There is another one. I haven't watched it yet they've done another video on their latte. So on pumpkin spice lattes. So maybe check that one out too. It looks like we have a lot of pumpkin spice fans or maybe pumpkin fans in general. I think that the pro pumpkins might be winning.
I'm glad that we have solved this great debate. I guess we have a pro-pumpkin group mostly. I see a few of you anti in there. I lean that way. You know, I'd like to consider myself a centrist, but sometimes I lean either way, of course. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys again for sharing your pumpkin ideas. We've got so many pumpkin recipes. Katie wants to use Uber Eats to get a pumpkin spice latte to your house. Great use, again.
We do appreciate you being with us today. Thank you so much to the Organizational Design and Development team for letting us take over the October Buzz. And we've had a great time with you all. Thank you all for sharing and participating in the chat. You made this hour fly by. We do hope that you are creating connections across your teams, that you gathered some ideas today that you can bring into your own work, and that you have a really great rest of your day and weekend, and enjoy the beautiful weather. I'm going to stop recording now.